Hey Dragon Slayers! Today's video is about sugar, artificial sweeteners, and their connection to insulin resistance. So, by now, you know that sugar influences insulin. I mean, everyone who's done any sort of research understands this. Our increasing consumption of sweetened foods, products with added natural sugars, or high fructose corn syrup has unsurprisingly coincided with rising rates of insulin resistance. Fructose has become frighteningly prevalent. It's found in a remarkable number of processed and packaged foods, around 70%. Rather, as pure fructose, sucrose, which is a combination of glucose and fructose, or high fructose corn syrup. Increasingly, pure fructose is used even in health products, from sports drinks to protein powders. Many people assume it to be a natural ingredient and therefore healthier than sugar or other sweeteners. An interesting trend with fructose and its various forms is how widely used it continues to be with little thought of the consequences. Regardless of its source, whether pure, crystallized fructose or in combination with sucrose, fructose has been shown to increase insulin resistance. The exact way this works isn't well defined. It might be through its effect on body fat storage, as we discussed when we talked about liver health in an earlier video, or by increasing inflammation. Earlier, we spoke about oxidative stress. Sugar, which is half glucose and half fructose, increases oxidative stress quite readily. Of course, this combination of simple carbohydrates increases blood glucose and insulin. The higher it gets, the greater the oxidative stress. Artificial sweeteners are a broad class of non nutritive compounds, things that taste like sugar but provide few or no calories and no nutrition. The evidence on specific sweeteners and insulin resistance is sparse, though there's enough to mention. Researchers have concluded that artificial sweeteners increase the risk of insulin resistance. According to one study, people who drank artificially sweetened diet sodas daily had a 36% chance or 36% greater chance of developing metabolic syndrome and a whopping 67% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. These studies are correlation and thus prevent us from making any real conclusions about sweeteners and insulin resistance. However, the strong correlation does hint at a causal connection. A few theories might explain it, including the artificial sweetener increase in our crave for real foods. It basically tricks us into thinking that we can eat more later. Because this soda doesn't have any calories, I can eat these fries. And it may cause a small insulin spike even though they provide no meaningful calories. So let's unpack this a little bit further. This phenomena is known as the cephalic phase insulin response, or CPIR, and its natural reaction to sweet foods that helps prepare the body for a carbohydrate load. Because it should. In nature, anything that tastes sweet would be a carbohydrate. The cephalic phase insulin response is simply the body's way of priming the pump by releasing a little insulin in anticipation of a carbohydrate load, which will cause a greater insulin release later. One interesting study explored the effects of various sweeteners on altering the insulin release from eating. Each subject drank one of various sweetened drinks with a meal. Drinking sugar with the meal had the highest effect on insulin release. But interestingly, aspartame, which is a common artificial sweetener in diet sodas, When people consumed it with the meal, it had almost the same identical effect as sugar, though there is evidence to challenge this as well. Stevia, erythritol, and monk fruit extract, however, had no effect. Keep in mind that these data points are focused on drinking a sweetener while eating a meal. Consuming the sweeteners on their own appeared to do nothing to the insulin response. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.